Hilda, Migration Tuesday, friends of ours have...
Okay. Carl is missing.
Carl, where did you go, Carl?
Well, I think that's because he lost the last goal. Maybe he's rewinding.
Yeah.
I don't know, Julia, but maybe you can start.
Yeah, so I guess that the first thing is that the consulate said that they were going to be on strike from the 5th of December on, and it seems like hi, Carl.
You star, Gilda, you absolute star. Thank you for stepping in there. I must have pressed the wrong button, and perhaps it's not the best idea to have Zoom in Portuguese. I thought I was doing quite well until I must have pressed the wrong button there. So forgive me, and thank you for stepping in there, Gilda.
No, actually, it was Nuno that,
he kicked me out.
Yeah, no, he pushed me.
Oh, I see. Right, okay, all right. It hasn't been a complete mutiny tonight with Nuno saying, yes, we got rid of Carl. Go, Gilda, go. All right, well, thank you very much for holding the fort there. Really appreciate that. And I was just about to say before I was unceremoniously booted out, although I broke your flow, you were clearly, did you want to finish what you were saying?
Yeah, I was saying that the news about the consulates going on strike from the 5th of December on, it seems that the consulates are keep working. So some of them might have gone on strike, some of them might not. So it's very unclear.
Oh, okay. So it's not a total action on behalf of those staff. It's partial around the world, and people will have to deal with it on a case-by-case basis then and see what's happening at their particular consulate. Okay, but that's kind of good news in a way that not everybody's on strike, but it's worth checking because some might be. That said, Gilda, we've heard from friends and people in the community here that some visas have come through. Have you noticed that? Has there been a little bit of a surge? Have CEF put in some extra work before Christmas to get a few more people into the country?
Yes, that's true.
Woohoo! Great news. Okay, so how's it been in your office this week?
It was good. We had lots of good news, many people happy. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, same here from our end of things. Such good news, because people were getting quite worried and quite anxious, weren't they? Thinking that with the strikes and with Christmas coming up, they might not hear until next year. But clearly, many have heard very good news. So if you're one of those people, do let us know in the chat. And yes, we had a question asked. I have a migration question. Can I ask it here through the chat? Please do, Isa. This is the whole point of you being here. You're very welcome, and please go ahead and ask a question in the chat. Before we get started in earnest, we do have Sarah Davey with us from Spartan FX, our preferred currency partner. Good evening to you, Sarah, in the UK, I believe.
I am, yes. Great to see everyone today.
And just how cold is it in the UK this evening?
I think it's about 4 degrees.
4 degrees.
But it's supposed to get worse, I think, this week, and snow might be on its way. So
I'm so sorry to hear that. British people with D7 visa alerts and permissions will be glad to be coming over to Portugal, I'm sure. So how's it looking with the, it's been very, very dynamic, I think is the right word, isn't it, for the money markets in the last few months? Is it continuing in that way?
Absolutely. I mean, that's why I really wanted to come on today, really. We've talked about it for a while, that certainly if you're selling US dollars and buying euros, the rates has really been fantastic. But we did warn that could all change. There's lots of things, reversing the war between the Ukraine and Russia, global recessions, the fact that the US dollar is very, very strong. There's lots of different factors that we've talked about, but actually now we've started to see that reversal. So really in the last week or so, we've seen the US dollar euro rate drop by about 6%. So if you were buying about 250,000 euros, their difference is about 16,000 US dollars. So we're still at levels that we saw back in July of this year. So we're still at good levels compared to if you were buying last year. But this is really the biggest drop that we've seen since probably about 2010. So there's quite a significant movement, and we've seen this similar with the Canadian dollar as well. That's dropped about 5%. So similar kind of amounts that we're looking at if you're buying 250,000 euros. Really what we've seen for both is really to do with interest rates. As the countries increase the interest rates, that strengthens the currency, the US dollar, for example. But we're now sort of seeing a little bit of a change by the Fed, thinking that they might do it at a bit of a slower pace. So if the rates don't raise as aggressively, that's where it weakens the US dollar. So that's where we've seen the biggest sort of movements in both currencies. And the other thing to bear in mind as well is that the Europe could follow a similar trend to the US dollar, that they were raising rates dramatically or more aggressively. So we could see a bit of euro strength as well going forward. So it was really just to come on and sort of make people aware. I know that when people are thinking about moving country, the visa, all those sort of things are very important, but it is important looking at exchange rates, because that will ultimately mean the difference with how much you're actually going to take with you, how much a visa is going to cost, how much either renting is going to cost, how much property is going to cost. It really can change the amounts that you're being able to buy in euros. And a lot of our customers at the moment are buying euros in advance of needing them. We have a couple of options. You might think, well, I haven't got a bank account in Portugal set up yet. Maybe I haven't got all my money available, but that's not a problem. You still have options available. We can buy and hold your euros on account free of charge for you. You can fix the rate with just a 10% deposit. So if you've not got all the money available, so there are a few different options available to you, but the key really is just to maybe have a conversation with us so that we can get to know you and your situation and what you need, your time frames, how quick you need to get the money there if you are buying property, and just really try and help manage those fluctuations for you.
Fantastic. Okay, we had one question in for you. The big question, of course, is how people can they get in touch with you? What best way to do that?
The best way is probably to either go to the directory on Expats Portugal. There is links on there that you can fill an inquiry form and be in touch. You can email us at expatsportugal@spartanfx.co.uk. I'll put it in the chat.
Good on you.
Or there is the telephone number. So we are based in the UK. However, we deal with a lot of customers in America, Canada, Australia, Switzerland, all the way around the world. So that's not a problem. We can take calls on WhatsApp as well if that's convenient for you.
Superb. Okay, that's great news. And can you stick around and hang around in the chat so that people can ask you questions there as well?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Fantastic.
Not a problem.
Okay, dream team tonight. So you have Sarah from Spartan on currency, Nunu is there on insurance, and of course on Migration Tuesdays, Gilda, awaiting your questions too. So thank you to premium members, Jen, Laurie, Susie, Derek, Gail, Glenn, Issa, James, Lucia, hello, Lynette, Mehmet, and Tim for being here with us tonight, and over on YouTube, Arshad is there as well, and Jean, I think, with good news about D7 as well. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to mute you up there, Laurie, because you've just come in on the call. If you do want to ask questions later on, that's fine. So we'll come to some questions a bit later on, but I will field them from the chat right now. From Laurie, this is for you, Gilda, and this might be old news unless I've missed something here. Why is Millennium no longer an option to open your Portuguese bank account? That's not the case, is it, Gilda?
Well, for some, it depends. They are accepting some kind of income and they are not accepting other kind of income.
Oh, okay. So this is a subjective issue at Millennium's end, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, you were when they first had a little bit of a difficulty earlier on this year, you were at the front of that queue, knocking on their door and putting things right. So has it changed again, or is this just more of the same?
It's changed again.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. And this is how would people approach it? What's the best way can you still help people in this regard?
Well, I think that they are not, in my point of view, to be honest, I think that they don't want more clients.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Hard to believe, isn't it? But I can understand why you've come to that conclusion.
Yeah, it is, and I may say that they are not the only ones, because I've been knocking at some other banks, and they told me, Gilda, we just don't want more clients. We have lots of work in this agency, and we don't want more.
Right. Okay. All right.
So tell me, what kind of country or what kind of organization doesn't want more clients?
Okay.
Only here.
But certainly not EI. This is what you're hearing in the sort of corporate culture here in Portugal. So, Laurie, spot on there. So it may or may not be an option for your Portuguese bank account. Perhaps best to take Gilda's advice on that. I think you want to add something else there, Gilda.
Yes. Although I had a meeting with another bank that I know quite well. It's not a very known bank, but a client of ours just said on one of our webinars that he knocked on many doors, and he went there and they opened their bank account, which was Aerobic. So I went there and I met with them, and they were the ones that were kind of happy to see me, and to say, yeah, okay, we want clients, of course. And so I'm now kind of testing how they are operating with these new clients that I'm sending to them.
Yeah.
And see how long they are taking, and to see if I can work with them, because
Very good.
I'm totally desperate to find another bank to be partner of, so I can open the bank accounts for my clients.
You would think, wouldn't you, that they would be desperate to work with you? We're finding out that they're not. If I can share my personal experience, those are the two banks, apart from the online banking systems, the two bank accounts I've had in Portugal are Millennium BCP and Aerobic. And I found Aerobic to be far superior in many ways. Apart from in the last couple of days, I made a foreign transaction on my card, which they've closed. So they can just randomly shut your card down, not your account, but just your card, fearing, I think, some sort of fraud and seeing foreign transactions, which in a way is good, but it's a really good idea to have options, is what I would suggest. But Aerobic, apart from that, a really good bank to be part of. And I think that, I hope that you can create a really good relationship with that bank and have an option to share with people. So there you go, Laurie, that should help with that. Gilda,
yes,
I'm
sorry, I had a meeting with them in the main in the headquarters. So yeah. I spoke with the head office from the Portuguese people here in the bank,
excellent,
the Portuguese directors. So because I like to do it, I don't like to go there and just speak with someone that is at the desk,
yes.
Like I do with the Millennium. It needs to be someone in the higher level. So if something happens, I can address the situation.
Yeah.
It needs to be really a partnership.
Yes.
So I'm building that. Let's see the outcomes.
Okay, we'll tune in, everybody, on a Tuesday evening, and we'll find out how that shapes up. And yeah, it's bizarre, isn't it, that a bank would not be fussed about working with you or for you, but that's how it is, and Gilda is working on it. So there you go, Laurie. I hope that helps. Issa says, I applied for the D7 visa in July, and today I got a notification that the passport is finally going back from the embassy to the VFS, so I could pick it up by tomorrow or after tomorrow. Woohoo! Says Issa. I'm so happy and nervous at the same time. And I'm sure you've seen this, these mixed feelings in people before now, Gilda. And I may be overthinking, but in case I get a refusal, would it be possible to email you, Gilda, to book an urgent appointment to help me with the appeal, or advise me if I should apply again for the digital nomad instead of appealing? And if so, may I know to which email should I write? Because emailing Geral takes a while to hear back sometimes. I am just planning for the worst, but hoping for the best. Is Issa overthinking it?
I think so.
I thought you might say that. Okay. But you can also understand why people do get a bit jittery and want your hotline to ring you up in case of any problems, right?
Yeah. But if I write here, she can read my message, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone can read it.
You put it. You can send a direct message to Isa, or you can send it for everybody's attention. Todos in the Zoom as well. Mehmet, good evening to you, a regular. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your patience earlier on. Appreciate that. Gilda was informing about the strike. Are there any exceptions, like countries not joining this movement? Do you know any specific consulates or embassies that are taking action, Gilda, or can we not be that specific this evening?
I know that there were some issues in Brazil, but we were managed to work them out with VFS, and that's all until now.
Okay, all right. So that's all we know on that score, Mehmet. And over on YouTube, Arshad wants a D7 visa for Portugal. Mehmet, can someone please let me in on Zoom? Done that now. Good service, huh, tonight? Jean, I received my visa on day 56 of the 30 to 60 days. That was a week ago tomorrow. That's such good news, Jean. Thank you for sharing that with us. John and Pam, I have a question for Gilda. Stand by. So John and Pam, please ask your question. Pop it in the chat. That would be fantastic. Angel Tobbit is here as well. Good evening to you, Angel. In the US, banks compete with one another to get your business. Maybe exploring competing.
In every country, I guess, except here.
Yes, maybe explore competing banks we can work with. That's what Gilda just said she's doing. And Urabic are first on the list, and it sounds like they're responding positively. Did you mention to them that Millennium BCP are not being very keen or dynamic?
I did.
Good. That probably helped, didn't it? Even foreign ones with branches in Portugal. Now, I'm not sure if you can cast the net too wide with this, Gilda, because the government may have something to say about which types of banks you can use. Up until now, it's not useful, is it, for people to be with digital banks? It needs to be a well-known Portuguese bank, does it not?
Yes, because when you go to SEF, they need to see they want to see a Portuguese bank account.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. So yes, the focus will have to be within Portugal and not with one of these newfangled online banks.
No.
But maybe, who knows, one day that might change. We're approaching the end of the year, Gilda. A very interesting 2022 it's been. A one where I think all of this year, SEF have been reorganizing themselves or threatening to. They've been dissolved and are waiting to reform. Any news at all, or can we just completely forget about that until January now?
I don't know. The latest news this week was people that got their visas like in November got their appointments for May in SEF. And
Right.
people that got their visas now in December got their appointments for January.
Ah, okay.
And they are running, and some of them are telling us we don't have time to go there. Can you please ask for a later appointment? We try to call SEF, and they say we don't have any vacancy for later appointments.
Right. So using a bit of detective work there, does that suggest to you that a new department or group of people have come in to work on these in this process and are working?
I think so.
Okay, that would be my guess. And as it turns out, they're working a little bit too fast now. Is that right? Right. So what we're looking for is a happy medium in the middle there, not the long delays that we've become accustomed to, and not these new people coming in and saying, okay, we'll see you next week kind of stuff, and far sooner than you'd be comfortable with. We need something in the middle. But you're suspecting that something is going on behind the scenes, and perhaps good news, once they've all got to know each other and have created good work bonds with each other, these new departments, of course, which will be part of SEF, maybe things will be looking up early on in the new year.
Yes, let's see what to expect in the new year.
Okay, but
yes, it's 2023.
Yes.
January 2023.
Okay, just for clarification, that is worth knowing, isn't it? Okay, John, thank you for this. Gilda, let's say I have a D7 issued January the 1st, or a D7 issued on January the 1st, that's different, and expires April 30th, but I leave Portugal on March the 1st, then return in May after the expiry. Wouldn't I be able to come back into Schengen area under the 90-day tourist visa, since I still have 30 days left until I reach 60 days? Are you with John on that?
This is
it's like one of those questions you get in a maths exam as a teenager, isn't it? About
no, it's like watching the Portuguese football match at night.
Yes,
trying to follow the ball.
Yes, and this is a kind of Ronaldo style question, isn't it? With some fancy footwork here, John. So let me do that again. Gilda, let's say I have a D7 issued on January the 1st. Okay, we've got that, which would expire April 30th. But I leave Portugal on March the 1st, which would be 60 days. Would it be? Then return in May after the expiry. Wouldn't I be able to come back into Schengen area under the 90 tourist visa days, since I still have 30 days left until I reach 90 days? So
yes.
You can trade these days, basically, is what he's asking, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And also because you should have a self-appointment by then,
yes.
And you can always use that. Yes, I still have days left from my Schengen period.
Yes.
I have 2 entries with my visa. Even if my visa expired, I still have my self-appointment.
Okay. And
she didn't went to the self-appointment yet, because if she already went to the self-appointment, this question doesn't need to be raised.
Sure. And one of the key, I suppose, one of the interesting things about that question is that John is talking about Schengen, not Portugal. Now, how is it generally when you enter into different countries in the Schengen area? Are they up to speed with this? Are they likely to respond in the same way that the Portuguese border might? They should. Yes. I know they should, but do they?
Yes, because for the Schengen, what is important is that you don't expire the 90 days in 6 months. So you have the stamp where you are in Portugal, and then you have the stamp that you are going out, so 60 days.
Okay.
And if you want to come back, you still have the 30 days. So right. her thought is correct.
Okay, there you go, John. That's
his thought. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. It is John and Pam, so it might have been Pam that was asking that question. Okay, so that's that bit, John. And you have a supplementary to that. Realistically, are CEF appointments being scheduled out to June and July now? You mentioned May before, but as an average, would you guess that June and July would be the dates of these meetings? Are you there?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Oh, did you not catch that? Okay, so no. John's also asking, realistically then, for the new year, are CEF appointments being scheduled in June and July? Is that when they're likely to be? Roughly speaking.
No, because the visas that we got issued this week were all for the January, for the 2nd week until the end of January.
So even earlier. I think John's working on the old timescales there, thinking about June and July.
On the old times. Yeah, it was for the last ones we got in November were for May.
Okay, so it really depends, doesn't it, if you're working with the new CEF employees who seem really keen to get these things processed, or if it's going through the older part of the process. It's difficult to call, I think, John, in that case, but I think you get the gist of what's being spoken about this evening. Tim, thank you very much for your question. Is CEF currently taking family reunion appointments? And if not, when are they likely to resume? Any family reunion action, Gilda?
Well, if you already have your visa issued, they are not there are no vacancy at the moment for family reunion appointments. if you are going to apply for your visa now, according to the new law, once your visa is issued, you can apply for your family, and they will issue in 10 days the visa for your family.
Okay. All right. That's good news, isn't it?
Yes. If
Yes.
they act accordingly with the law. Yes.
There's always a little caveat there, isn't there? Which is why
I have to say, because
yeah, of course you do. Absolutely, absolutely. Nom de plume over on YouTube. Hola, Gildinha. She's, I think, maybe.
That.
Should they not say that? Would you rather they didn't?
No, I like that.
That's Nom de Plume, that's the name they're using over on YouTube anyway. Maybe they're delighted that Portugal won so victoriously this evening. Victor is over on YouTube as well. Hi from Tampa, Florida. Oh, don't forget, before I ask Victor's question, the dream team has been complemented further tonight. We have Sarah Davey from Spartan FX. We have Nuna from Winsurance, and Jerry and Astrid are also here if there are any questions you want to ask about Expats Portugal as well. So what a team we have for you this evening. Back to Victoria's, not Victoria, I changed your gender there. Victor's question. Hi from Tampa, Florida, forgive me. Looking at the NLV requirements for Spain or Portugal retirement, we're a retired US Army couple doing research on a health insurance we can combine with the military one. Well, okay, for the last part of that, talk to Nunu here, Victor, and we can't answer questions about Spanish visas, can we, Gilda? We're all about the Portuguese visas here tonight. So, Victor, ask away. When it comes to visa requirements, do give us more on that particular question. Suming Kim is here as well. Hi, Carl and Gilda. Did VFS start to accept appointments for the digital nomad visa?
Oh, yes.
Okay, simple yes there to that one, Suming. And can you clarify this statement from the CEF website from Sarah Hedrick? The holder, okay, here we go. The holder of a temporary residence permit who intends to be absent from Portugal during the validity period for a time frame exceeding 6 consecutive months or 8 unsequential months has a duty to inform CEF before leaving national territory. Now, unless they were interrupted by somebody else there asking, or they haven't finished that question, could you explain that? I think it's to do with the 6 and 8 month differences, isn't it?
Yes, but first of all, as I explained here, they changed the law, saying that now it's during the resident permit, and they didn't change. They didn't say it's per year. They say it's now as long as the resident permit is valid.
Ah, okay.
Secondly, yes, they are supposed to inform, but if you go in practice, how do you inform them?
Right.
You can send an email, and that's the only thing that you can do. You can send an email saying that you are going to be away for this and that, justifying always with the things that I say, by family, professional, family reasons, professional, and health reasons.
Okay, and you say that with some hesitation there, Gilda. Is it because you don't know if the email is going to get read or it is going to end up in the right department?
No, it's because in all these years, I never had an experience of anyone that did that.
Yes.
Okay, but what we do, I think it's awesome that you do that. But what normally people do is when they go to the renewal, if CEF asks for something, check your ins and outs, then they will give you a notice for an explanation. Okay. And then you can give them an explanation.
And of course, the beauty of sending an email is you have your paper trail as well, don't you?
Yes, yes.
Which is time.
Say, I try to inform you in advance. Here is the proof that I did that.
Yes, okay. And there's little argument when it comes to sending an email, which is so that's why you give that advice. Fantastic. William, good evening to you. Good night. Carol and I will be back in Portugal around the middle of January to get a piece of Portugal all to ourselves. That's great news. I'm glad to have been of some help in that, William. And John, adding to his earlier comments, just sent off our passports to the San Francisco Consulate today by priority overnight FedEx. That's the way to go, John. Hopefully get the D7s back within the week. Well done. And James, adventure filmmaker, wish I was there to go to your Lisbon meetup tomorrow at the LG factory. How often have you been hosting meetups? I'm not sure, maybe Jerry or Astrid might like to respond to that, if not on the call, then in the comments there. And go to expatsportugal.com. In the events section, you'll see events all over the country, including that one. So thank you for mentioning that, James. Isa, just another recommendation I called Banco. There's more to that name than just Banco, isn't there? Banco Best, is that a typo? I'm not sure. Have you heard of that particular brand of bank, Banco Best? A couple of weeks ago, and they told me they open accounts for non-residents remotely. That will be an interesting thing if they do that. Would you recommend that, Gilda?
Actually, I never tried Banco Best, so
Okay.
I don't know.
But that is a thing. Banco, I've never seen that either. Banco Best is a brand, is it?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. And Sarah saying, thank you. Christopher, as far as a military disability payment from the US goes, are they taxed in Portugal? Now, that's a little bit off our topic tonight, but have you worked with anybody who's had a military disability pension? And do you know if they're taxed in Portugal, Gilda?
Yes, I did work, and I'm not sure, but if it is, it's 10%.
Yeah, that's right. That is the exception, isn't it? That says pensions are taxed at 10%, which is a fairly recent development for Portugal. Okay, Sarah's with us from Spartan FX. There was a question for you a little bit earlier on. I think it was to do with how long you. Oh yes, Jen. Thank you very much, Jen, for this one. How long? Have a breather for a moment there, Gilda. How long can Spartan FX hold money for you? You might want to respond to that, Sarah.
Absolutely. There's really no end date, to be honest. The only difference is, although it's similar to a bank account, and as far as it's in your name and we can hold the funds on account, and you can pay to third parties. So while it doesn't replace your bank account, a lot of people are using us to do that. They pay what we paid removal companies, we paid art galleries, we've paid any bills that you've got, you rent. As long as we've got a bank account to pay to, we can pay to it. So if you're having maybe problems opening a bank account, this could be a short-term solution for you. But we can hold up the funds on account free of charge for as long as you need. But there isn't any interest earned on that. That's sort of the difference there. But it's more, a lot of the time it's because you haven't got an account set up yet in Portugal. It's really just to make the whole thing easier for you.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Nunu, I'm not sure if you're still here. I can't see you in the view I've got on my screen, but it's Migration Tuesday. We do this every Tuesday evening with Gilda from 9 p.m. Portugal time. And we know you have products specifically to help people coming to Portugal. Nunu, are you there? And would you like to comment on that?
Yes, I am. Good evening, everyone.
Wow, there you are. Thank you very much.
So yes, we have some products that are tailor-made accordingly with the Portuguese authorities' requirements regarding insurance. So it's everything settled with the insurers. We are freely to insure, subscribe, place the insurance policy, issue the insurance policy. So it's a quick and easy process. Okay,
superb. And once people are here, Nunu, could you give us a sense of what sort of insurance services you can offer once they're happily living their life in Portugal?
Well, I just tried to insure the World Cup to Portugal, but
the World Cup. Oh, you're anticipating it returning to Portugal, and you want the gig for that. That's really good. That's a really good bit of patriotic and positive thinking there.
No, we work with any kind of insurance, from the more basic, like the ones for D7 or car insurance, property insurance, to the most complex, like fine art insurance, very expensive property insurance that requires a different approach, different coverages. So any kind of insurance.
Superb. Okay, and we know that you've insured vehicles for people who are desperate. We generally don't advise people to bring vehicles to Portugal. It's quite a difficult process. But with some of those ones that are very dear to people, not just expensive dear, but dear as in sentimentally attached to them, you can insure those sorts of vehicles as well, right?
Yes. Yes.
Excellent stuff.
The process is more complicated, but yes, we.
Okay. And a question for you coming in from Gail. Good evening to you, Gail. Thanks for joining us tonight. Do you do rental insurance? Now, that's more of a thing in the United States, isn't it?
Yes, but I think that could be something very interesting to be developed here.
Okay, say more, Gilda.
Because all the expats ask me about it, and it makes sense to exist, but Portuguese people are not used to it. But it could be something that I don't know. No.
Actually,
maybe we could introduce to the Portuguese.
This is a very common insurance. It's a property insurance to content with a coverage of liability to landlord damages. So so it's a very common.
But what they want is something that we can tell the landlords, okay, I don't have guarantor, but I have this insurance.
No.
Guarantor.
Yeah, seguro de caução is how we know here in Portugal.
Substitui o fiador.
Yeah, no, not for that.
That's what they are looking for.
Okay, so that's the product.
That's a product that we can.
Yeah, that's what Gilda wants, but
Yeah.
you're saying no, it's not likely, or you're going to have to.
No. Maybe 30 years ago, that was a common insurance in Portugal, but insurers start having a lot of claims, lots of claims. So they stop with that line, and that line is basically nowadays to transportation, good transportation, and also some financial operations that demands or a bank's guarantee or an insurance guarantee, a similar guarantee. So it's not made. Insurers do not leave this product available to rental.
Okay.
I heard that sorry. I heard that some companies are already thinking about that, and because the type of immigration that we have now is slightly different than the one that we had then, so it makes more sense.
Yes, since the last 3 or 5 years, some insurers developed some specific products to comply with the law regarding some specific public lines to rental. So yes, something is appearing in the market, but not as seguro de caução guarantee. Not
Sounds
yet.
like that was a victim of its own success, and the insurance industry didn't like it too much. Yeah, okay. All right. Well, thank you very much, Nuno. Nuno's here. If you want to ask him any questions about insurance, please do that. So we've had a question from Ian Turner. Good evening, Coach Turner. Boa tarde, Carl and the Dream Team. Does the 10% tax rate on pensions depend on signing up for the NHR program, or is it a blanket taxation of 10%? Would you know the answer to that, Gilda?
You need to sign up for the non-habitual resident.
Okay, and
program.
But there will still be 10% on the pensions. Thank you for
that. Yes. If not, it can be more.
Oh, okay. All right. Good to know. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Jasper Frenchy is here on YouTube as well. Is it easier, bureaucracy-wise, to bring an electric vehicle to Portugal? Now, Jerry delivered a fantastic presentation with Nuno's help last Thursday. I'm not sure if we have enough precedence for this to know whether an electric vehicle coming into Portugal is easier than any other kind. Would you care to hazard an answer on that, Jerry?
I don't think it will be any easier. than trying to matriculate any other vehicle. The cars are built to varying standards in different countries in Europe. I know with my own electric vehicle that the model I have is specific to Portugal. And therefore, I would assume if you're bringing in a model from Germany or something, it will be specific to Germany and will require matriculation. That would be my view. Can you add to that, Nuno?
Yes, there are some leaders that they basically go to foreign markets like Germany and Belgium, and they bring the cars to Portugal. So there are car dealers that only work with those kind of cars.
Yeah,
because they are very expensive in Portugal.
Yeah.
So after 2 years, 3 years, they bring the cars and on a more affordable price.
All right. I'm wondering if Jasper here is wanting to bring their own electric vehicle or wants to have one imported via a dealer. Maybe you could let us know, Jasper, on that. But it doesn't seem like you're at any particular advantage wanting to import an electric vehicle. You might also be wondering from a taxation point of view, but I'm not sure. Maybe you could elaborate for us. Thank you both, Jerry and Nuno, for that. Nom de plume. Carl, I frequently refer people. Thank you very much for doing this. I frequently refer people to Gilles, de Nuno, Daniel, and Spartan, and want to find Spartan. What's the pathway to find the list on your website? That will be the business directory, of course, where you can find each and every one of the people you've just mentioned there. Nom de plume. You say you get in a tangled mess when searching. I think that's probably because you get distracted by the questions that are going on in the forum. You want to head straight to the business directory there, Nom de plume. And thank you for that question. And thank you for making those referrals. That's fantastic. Appreciate that. And you're also speaking Portuguese on the YouTube chat as well. Very good. Which I can't really pass on because Portuguese isn't up to that. Give me another year and I'll be able to do that. Please don't shake your head at me like that, Gilles. I'm doing my best with my Portuguese. In these difficult circumstances, I can't be bilingual. Not yet anyway. Okay. Jasper says it would be my own vehicle that I'm bringing in. So I think we would refer back to Jerry on that. And it does... Importing vehicles, any vehicle into Portugal, Jerry, is not an easy matter, is it? Let's face it.
It just isn't. And if it was easy, we'd all be doing it. If we could all go to Spain or Germany and buy cars cheaper over there, we would do it, and we don't. We Portuguese collectively don't do that. But the best thing to do, I think, is to contact ACP. If you remember with us, let me know, and I'll give you a referral, and they will give you a good estimation of what it would cost and what will be required to matriculate your vehicle into Portugal. Okay.
While we're on vehicles, thank you for that, Jerry. Are there any rules specific to bringing in classic cars? We know that members of our community have done that, so you could talk to them, but I think the same applies, doesn't it? It's not easy.
No, I think the rules are a little bit more relaxed with classic cars, but really I have the same answer. ACP, they're the go-to people for this. So, and they're our partners, so we have some discounts and things available through them.
Terrific. Thanks, Jerry. Isa asking Nuno, so a question for Nuno and then one for Sarah after. If I want to apply for the health insurance policy before my CEF appointment, can I apply for it through your company remotely before arriving in Portugal, just in case my potential CEF appointment is in January, so I will be short on time? A couple of bits to that question, really, Nuno. Can Isa apply from outside of Portugal, and can you work at short notice?
Yes, but I already replied to Isa, but instead of just go to our website or do it remotely, we prefer to understand what is the personal characteristics, and then we suggest some different plans. Okay, so that's why we prefer to handle these on a more personal approach.
All right, excellent. And those details then will be for anybody wanting to do that. Nuno.mendes@winsurance.pt. Thank you very much for that working behind the scenes there, Nuno. Question for Sarah from Susie. Is there a minimum investment for purchasing and holding euros? And can we add to our account over time, Sarah?
There's no minimum, and yes, you can add to that account over time. That's not a problem. Do as little as you like. Some people, as I was saying about what's happening now, some of our customers are buying the euros in advance. Again, it depends on your situation. Some people are maybe doing half of what they need to just spread that risk. Again, some people haven't got the money available. It really varies, but you can do as little as you like, and you can top up as you go.
Superb. Thank you very much for that, Sarah. Salesh Parahan, I hope I've pronounced that correctly, over on YouTube. Hi, I hope you're all doing well. We are doing well. That Portuguese victory tonight. My face is as red as the Portuguese flag, and I've got a green shirt on as well. I'm looking like a Portuguese flag, aren't I, tonight, Gilda? The question from Salesh is, I hope you're all doing well. We applied for a golden visa. Our biometric data was done in April, and we're still waiting for an email for payment. What are the expected timelines after the biometric part of the golden visa, Gilda? Roughly speaking, I guess you can't give a very accurate answer on that because a lot of that is outside of your hands.
8, 9 months.
8 or 9 months. Okay. All right. So April. You maybe can expect to hear something possibly this side of Christmas. Maybe no, not quite.
No, maybe in January.
Yeah, in January there, Salish. It's Nom de Plume is talking with Antonio F in the chat there over on YouTube. So thank you for being here as well.
This is a viewer a little bit confused. You talk here, you talk on the YouTube.
I'm multitasking. I'm known for it, Gilda. Mehmet is asking, I'm all over it, don't worry. Do I need
and you need to explain why you are so red.
It's the multitasking. You know, when a computer's working and the light comes on, my face does that instead of an
I never
LED
saw
light.
it before. I never noticed that before.
He's a big fan of Switzerland and he's very embarrassed.
Oh, okay.
I am so
look,
not.
Look, he's so red.
That is it's the color balance of Zoom as well. Or it might be your computer screen, Gilda, too.
No, we see you as red as well.
Thought that might cover it, but no. Gail, thank you for this distraction. So, and this is for Nuno, I think. So we can get contents insurance if doing a long-term rental, if we decide to rent a home for several years instead of buying a home after our initial long-term rental waiting for residency permit. That's quite... I'm not sure I understand that, but you definitely can get contents insurance from Nuno. That's right, isn't it, Nuno?
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Definitely.
There you go. And Mehmet, so thank you for this. Do I need to start a company to apply for NHR as a digital nomad? In other words, what does it entail to get benefit from the NHR? Great question. Thank you.
You don't need to start a company. When you get your resident permits, you change your address into your tax address to the Portuguese one. You become a tax resident, and then you apply for the NHR. And then it applies in the benefits are applied in 2 different ways. One, to the income that you have outside Portugal. It can be not taxable, or it can be taxed lower. It needs to be analyzed with the conventions, with the tax conventions that you have with that country, and what kind of taxes that income is submitted. And from the income that you have in Portugal, you need to see in the scale of our personal tax income, how much it would be, and the higher scale that you get for 10 years, it's 20%.
There you go.
Knowing that the highest is 49%.
I think we're getting...
Half.
Thank you, Gilda. We're getting some nods of appreciation from Mehmet there. Thank you very much for that question. No, Carl, you're red. You look very seasonal. Well, I am looking like a Portuguese flag and now a Christmas tree. Thank you, everybody, for your observations this evening. Much appreciated. And what else have we got here? Oh yes, Gail. That's right. You're right, Gilda. I've got some on Zoom and I've got some on YouTube. Is US Social Security also taxed at 10%? As I've not been able to verify this, we might be able to do that right for you now, Gail.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I cannot be 100% sure, but it was one of the changes in the law that the Social Security pensions were going to be taxed at 10%.
Okay, thank you very much for that, Gilda. Now, if I could draw you back towards your request from Nunu to have that insurance instead of a guarantor, or to work alongside that. Your interest in this obviously comes from Casa Portuguesa. So for anybody who doesn't know about your service to help people find a home and satisfying that part of the D7 requirement, could you tell us a little bit about Casa Portuguesa, please?
Yes, it's a company that I have that it's focused on finding a house for people that are not here, or that even are here but are finding some difficulties in finding a place, or even to buy for people that want to apply for a golden visa, now that the rules have changed and it's more difficult to find houses to apply for the golden visa. We also find houses for that people, and also for the rentals for the D7, and any kind of rentals, or for people that want to buy.
Thank you very much. And we missed some feedback last week because we talked about Casa Portuguesa and your pickup service from the airport, and even a bottle of wine in the new accommodation that you find for people. And we had a lovely deluge of positive feedback about that, some of which you might not have seen, Gilda. So keep up that good work.
Oh,
there.
really?
Yeah,
People
really enjoying that. And we will draw to a close now, apart from another comment about my red appearance. Thank you very much. People are enjoying this far too much tonight, but go ahead, Billy and Dottie. Carl is red. Carl, red is okay. Okay, Carl, red is okay, unless they start calling you Santa Claus. Well, I imagine that's coming next. I just need a nice white fur trim around my face, don't I, to look like Santa Claus this evening, and expecting gifts. Well, you can all forget that tonight. Carl is red. Gildina, you are too thin. What? It's very personal tonight, isn't it? Although
but who is calling me Gildinha?
Gildinha. So eat more Portuguese style is the. So you're getting a bit. Normally
Carl, answer me. Who is calling me Gildinha?
Someone simply hiding behind the nom de plume of nom de plume in the YouTube. So I don't know what else to say about that. Maybe you could declare yourself nom de plume in a.
Oh, I think it's someone I met on the lunch last time.
We shall see. Hi, Gilda from Anthony. May I know more about the Casa Portuguesa fees? Do you charge a commission or a fixed fee? How do you charge for the help to find an apartment to rent? So could you tell us a little bit about the fee structure?
Yeah, it's a fixed fee.
Okay. All right. And thank you, Stephen. I already made that joke about me being the Portuguese flag. And nom de plume is Sarah. So you might know nom de plume as Sarah.
The one that left me the chocolates.
Could be. Marty's here as well, wishing us a very good evening. Hi, Marty. Great to see you here. And he reckons you've lost weight because Mandela requires a lot of calories to manage. Before I will do a Mandela report tonight. We need to find out how the little fella is. Before we go to each of the three of the dream team who are here tonight with a final tip from each of you, if you will. But first of all, let's find out how Mandela's doing this evening. How's he been?
Well, I don't remember if I told you last week that he swallowed the snock.
He swallowed a sock. Should we rephrase that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So he swallowed a sock. I was going to ask you about this. Now, the obvious thing that you're going to be thinking about when a dog swallows a sock is whether you see the sock again. So if I could, I don't know how to put that any more delicately than I'm about to now. Did you see the sock again? And is he?
Yeah, I saw.
Oh,
like
dear.
3 days after.
Wow, his intestinal transit time might need a check at the vets. Okay, excellent stuff. Thank you for that update. It's almost like he's almost had a sock flossing hasn't he? Okay, let's move on, because that's pretty disgusting. Hopefully nobody was eating Portuguese or any other kind of food this evening. I won't mention that, but do give him our love. Jerry, did you want to add to that?
Yes, Shilda, can you still wear the sock?
Oh, Jerry!
No, I can't.
Oh, good.
I can't. But you know, my husband made that joke.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. I can
Great minds think alike.
Everybody was thinking that, but Jerry had to ask that. Okay. So
who is going to the party tomorrow?
Raise your hands if you're going to the party tomorrow. Excellent. Well done, everybody. And let me go for
Carl.
Carl. This is why I'm red, Shilda. I can explain. Oh, Tim's raising. I don't know if Tim's asking a question or now I've confused things, because he's either saying he's coming to the party or he wants to ask a question. Sadly, we don't have time for any more questions, including that one you just asked me, Shilda.
No, Carl, come on.
I'm still working on it, Shilda. So we'll come to you last for your final word this evening, but let's go. We'll have ladies last rather than ladies first on this occasion. Nunu, a tip from you, please, to close the evening, and a last word from you from the world of insurance.
So before enroll on any kind of insurance, think that is a contract. So just ask.
Okay,
make the questions and try to get some answers to understand if the people that is recommending you some plan that he or she knows what is talking about.
Very good. And I think that might especially apply to bank sold insurance, right, Nunu? Find out exactly what you're signing up for. As Nunu says there, it is a contract you're signing, folks. As convenient as it may seem, or as good value as it may seem, is talk to somebody, perhaps Nunu, about the intricacies and T's and C's of your insurance policy. Thank you very much for being here tonight, Nunu. Let's go to Sarah now in the UK, where it's only 4 degrees. A last word from you, please, Sarah.
Yes, no, thanks for having me on tonight. It was great to see you all. So we've touched on obviously looking at exchange rate movements and sort of really managing that and thinking about that with your budgets. The other thing to really think about, and another reason to think about moving your money early, is we do see it with a lot of customers, unfortunately, that then move to Portugal and then try and move money, normally sort of larger amounts. Maybe you're renting and then later down the line you're thinking about buying a property, and then it can become a little bit more difficult to actually move money from the US, from Canada, from the UK, wherever you're from. So really it's just about sort of looking into this before you leave your home country. We've seen it where, for example, people have either given power of attorney to people that they trust. Some banks need you to get an international card reader. Some banks might need you to sign some paperwork. As I said, it might be fine when you're living there in your home country making the transfers, or even when you move doing smaller amounts. But doing the larger amounts, sometimes they need extra authorization, and you might find that a little bit of a problem. Unfortunately, we've had customers that have had to fly back home because they've not been able to move their money. Maybe it's in a specific account. Some brokerage accounts are difficult to move money out of, but it's definitely worthwhile. And also some, we've seen it where some online banking have a limit on how much you can do each day. So again, things where there's limits, or we've seen it with one bank in the US where they had a limit of the client could only transfer $70,000 every 30 days. So again, if you're going to buy a property, that's the customer had to fly back because it was probably going to take her about 6 months to actually move the amount of money she needed to buy that property. So again, have a think about some of these things before you go, and it just might make it easier for you.
Fantastic, Sarah. Thank you very much. Find Nunu. Find Sarah in the business directory, which was our advice to Nom de Plume Sarah earlier on. Could you take 3 quickies, Gilda, by way of some last words for you? Lucia, hi, Gilda. Now that the CEFs are coming in more rapidly than in the past, are the D7 visas also being approved in a more timely manner? What would you say?
Well, at the moment, we don't have that experience, but our expectation is that they will start to being approved sooner.
Fantastic. Mehmet, Casa Portuguesa, your fee is fixed, but what if the apartment subject to rental is advertised by a realtor? Do you bypass them?
What do you mean we bypass
I think that the way it works is it's a bit more competitive in Portugal. Quite a few people might be representing a rental property. So I don't think bypass.
We don't have, it works like this. We don't have properties. So what we do is that we deal with any realtors. So they don't feel like we bypass anyone.
Yeah.
Because we just have the client and we deal with the realtors, and they don't need to give us any commission. So we can be completely free to work on behalf of our clients.
And that's why you choose that approach, right?
Yeah, so we just focus on our clients, and we work on all the apartments that's on all the houses that can be suitable for our clients, despite the realtors that we are working for.
Fantastic. And finally, Gail, if we're coming January to February for a scouting trip, we're interested in to schedule an in-person appointment to discuss areas that are of offering the best chance of finding long-term rentals for our D7. I think basically the question Gail is asking, is it possible to pop in and see you? Is that right? We may not be needing a place until next September, considering longer receipt of D7s from SF and being able to transport our cats in cargo due to temperature regulations after the summer. Okay, so you're going to move after the summer. So where are your offices located, and can we arrange for that possibility in our travel plans? I think to pop in and see you is the question there. Is that?
Yes, of course.
Of course it is.
Just send me an email and we'll arrange a meeting.
Nice and easy answer there, Gail. We've had everything tonight. We've had Zoom, we've had YouTube, we've had Sarah on currency, we've had Nuno on insurance, we've had the human Portuguese flag, and a Teckle dog that ate a sock that safely.
And I have something else.
And we have something else.
It's not the sock. Please don't let it be the sock.
Here it is.
No, but you know, I am feeling, you know, afraid for Martin's life.
Really? Why?
Because I had the saddest idea of asking that man for a picture of his visa in Alaska, you know, because I like to collect pictures of the clients in funny places.
Yes.
So I think he's trying to kill himself, because first he sent me a picture in a mountain,
yes,
full of snow. Then he said, this is not funny enough. I'm going to find a picture with the moose or with the ox. And then he sent me a picture. Yeah.
No, Marty,
no, with the ox.
Okay.
And then he said, okay, I'm going to try to find one with the bear. Hold on there. And I said, no, please stop.
Yeah,
this
you win the prize.
Enough.
Yeah, you win the prize anyway. Marty, stop it.
Stop. This is, yeah. Now I can't stop him. He's sending me pictures.
Yes.
And I said, no, I want you, you know, I want you safe in Portugal. You know, he's coming in December, in 1 week or two. And I said, stop with the pictures. You know, these are perfectly fine. Just come to Portugal.
Yes.
You know.
Enough already, Marty.
Enough
okay.
already.
We want to see you, and we can't encourage or condone this kind of dangerous behavior from you or anybody else showing off with your visa. Okay, thank you very much. Great job
send me the pictures when the visas are. I love funny pictures with.
Yeah, but in the living room, right, or the kitchen.
You don't. Yeah, but you don't need to put your life in danger.
Yes, thank you for making that public safety announcement, Gilda. Great job, everybody. Thank you so much. Just closing down YouTube there, and thank you very much indeed. We'll see you again next Tuesday for more Migration Tuesday fun. Great job. Well done, Portugal. On to the next round. Nuno, were you waving or wanted to say something?
I just want to say that I was missing for a while hearing the perfect accent, British accent of Sarah. So finally. I just love it, Sarah.
Fantastic. We'll maybe get a recording for. You can watch this again there. You can watch the replay and enjoy that again there. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll call it a day there. Thanks very much.
See you tomorrow, Carl.
And bye. I think my redness might be a fever, Gilda. I might not be able to make it.
See you tomorrow, Carl.